So, you know what I call Gamescom? Gamescom is like E3, except they give you more information on video games. And I've noticed a lot of awesome gameplay trailers that were showcased at Gamescom. So, here is my list of the top 10 games shown at Gamescom. Just to let you guys know, even though there were a lot of trailers and a lot of them were awesome, I only chose the gameplay trailers that implied more information about the game itself. And it doesn't necessarily have to say it can also show it visually, if that makes sense. Also, these games were graded based on how much information they've shown at Gamescom. So what do we know about Recourse since E3 and other sources? We know that the main character, Jewel Adams, is sent to a desert planet to a colony known as Far Eden to build humanity's next hope. But rogue core bots are in her way. It's up to Jewel and her core bot pals, Mac, Seth, and Duncan, to bring hope for humanity in Far Eden. Through interviews and gameplay trailers, we've seen that Mac, Seth, and Duncan have awesome robot abilities that Jewel can use to her advantage. We've also seen platforming and puzzles that can be accomplished using those three bots. Now, the reason why Recore is at the bottom of the food chain on my list is because there really isn't anything different that they're showing us at Gamescom, except for the HUD of the actual game. So what do we know about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare since E3 and other sources? Well, not only was it one of the most hated videos on YouTube, but we didn't know anything about its zombies mode. So why isn't this number one in terms of the amount of information they've shown at Gamescom? Well, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare zombies mode is the same as all the others. Waves of zombies, cool weapons to use, some sort of backstory behind the whole thing. There's also the stereotypical new characters that we'll be meeting. AJ the Jock, Sally the Valley Girl, Poindexter the Nerd, and Andre the Rapper. Now, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Zombie Mode is at number 9 because it seems like you can lead zombies into these really goofy retro traps. And that's the thing that's going to make this game mode more fun. So what do we know about Nioh since E3 and other sources? Well, we know that it's faster than Dark Souls, and it's a combination of feudal Japan, Dark Souls, Geralt of Rivia, so yeah. I played the alpha demo some months ago, and it's a lot like Dark Souls, you know. You have to keep moving forward, you have to fight a lot of really hard enemies, you just have to survive. Now, Nioh is at number 8 because at Gamescom, it shows how incredibly challenging this game is going to get, especially with its humongous boss battles. It's also shown some spirit animal special attacks players will be able to use on enemies.
The world fears us.
What do we know about For Honor since E3 and other sources? Well, we all thought it was going to be a third-person hack-and-slash MOBA with a cool combat system, but we were wrong. A couple of months ago, it showed that someone started a catastrophic event, and now that has divided the three factions known as the Samurai, the Viking, and the Knights. Now, at Gamescom, For Honor is at number 7 on my list because we now know more about the Viking, Samurai, and Knight factions. And that montage showed us some really awesome fatalities that we'll be able to do. Ever since E3 and other sources, we know in Watch Dogs 2 that it's about a guy known as Marcus Holloway who was framed for hacking into a company known as Bloom. But now he has evolved into an excellent hacker who is part of an hacktivist group known as DedSec, and they're going to try and reveal the dirty secrets of Bloom in San Francisco. We know that we can use cool gadgets and techniques to use against enemies and in hacking people in general. So, Watch Dogs 2 is at number 6 on this list because at Gamescom, it has shown us that we can co-op with other players online, interfere with other players online, and hunt down or be hunted by other players online. Ever since E3 and other sources, we know that Titanfall 2 will be better than its predecessor because of a new and deep story mode, as well as more mobility mechanics we'll be able to use in-game, like that grappling hook though. We also know that this game will be on the PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox One. Titanfall 2 is now at number 5 on my list because we know more about the story. At Gamescom, they've shown us that Titans will be able to have personalities, and after a Titan known as BT lost his initial pilot, we have to be the replacement. We also know that we can have conversations with BT, and that there are going to be boss battles and wildlife. Ever since E3 and other sources, we know that Battlefield 1 is going to be a dirty bloodbath set in World War I, and we're all excited for it. It's going to be the usual stuff every Battlefield game needs to have. Explosions, destructions, vehicles, and horses! And there's going to be different environmental effects for each map. So why is Battlefield 1 at number 4? Well, not only was it because of that awesome montage they showed us at Gamescom, but we also got to see some horse and sword gameplay, as well as the amount of destruction we can unleash using planes, tanks, and trains even. And honestly, I can't wait to play the beta. I loved Mafia 2 back when I was a kid. So what do we already know about Mafia 3 from E3 and other sources? Well, we know that Lincoln Clay was a Vietnam veteran who has returned to New Bordeaux to live with the black mob, who are like family to him. But when the people he loves the most are wiped out by the Italian mob, Lincoln now needs to ally himself with other gangs to eliminate the Italian mobs. We know from gameplay videos that we can go all guns blazing or choose a more quiet approach, but all in all, we're supposed to be resilient and brutal in combat. Now the reason why Mafia 3 is at number 3 on this list is because before we never really knew why the Italian mob decided to betray Lincoln in the first place, but ever since Gamescom's new trailer, we know that Lincoln was allied with one of the heads of the Italian mob and participated with a bank heist with him. I'm guessing that the Italian mob betrayed the black mob just for greed, and when trust is betrayed, that's something Lincoln can't take lightly.
We're gonna pull this off.
Hello, I'm Adam Hitaney. I'm the head of game design at Deck 13 Interactive, and I would like to welcome you to our demo of The Surge.
The Surge is a recent game that we haven't really known about, except for a trailer that they've shown at E3. All we could have told from that is that we get to use exosuits and awesome energy-powered attacks. Now I know this isn't a trailer, but it's still some gameplay from the developer himself, explaining the backstory and the mechanics that are in The Surge. We know that The Surge takes place after an ecological crisis that happens, and now a lot of people are put out of work. We get to play as a guy known as Warren, who is in an exosuit, and was lucky enough to get a job as... well, actually I don't know what his job is. The developer didn't say. But when I watched this gameplay, I knew that not only will we be able to have exosuits, but we'll be able to attack enemies in more ways than one. We can even dismember enemies and use those parts to create our own parts. So it's really all about resources, crafting, and using your exosuit to your advantage. I've also heard that this game is like Dark Souls, but in the future.
It's got me!
What the f*** was that?
Okay. Look, I know what you're thinking. Why the hell is this game number 1? Well, unlike all the other extremely violent games on this list, Blackwood is the only one that's more different. Since E3, we've only seen a very weird trailer. But now this Gamescom, we get a deep trailer about a girl named Charlotte with her little brother Finn, who wants to know more about his parents, but Charlotte wouldn't tell him about them. Based on this trailer, it feels like both are kept in the dark. Finn has this weird convoluted imagination that somehow takes control of the environment of the game. And now something extremely bad is happening. Maybe Finn is causing all the monsters. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's something in their past. But either way, this game is a huge mystery. Also, from the trailer, I could sense glimpses of action that's going to be taking place. So, not only is this game going to be deep, but it's also going to be puzzling. And it's going to be an action-packed indie game that I'm excited to see.
A promise is a promise.
And that's all, folks. Those were my top 10 games of Gamescom 2016. So far, what are your favorite games being shown and unraveled at Gamescom 2016? Tell me in the comments below. And I'll see you guys on the next video.
Yeah.